masculinity? Please share.
Okay. Well, first of all, I started way back when I was 14 years old, and I just loved the look of bodybuilding and the muscular, the art form more than just build the bulk. And I like empowering people. I like building young women to say, hey, I'm confident being strong, looking strong, and when you start lifting weights, everything comes out. Your personality, you get more emotionally strong, physically, not just the physical part, emotional, intellect, and just be the best you can be.
Hmm.
And so I've competed almost every decade, believe it or not, except I took a 15-year lull, went to the nationals back in competing the North Americans in 95, 96. Took a 15-year lull and then came back in my 40s and said, you know what? I should get my pro card. And then decided to go and get my pro card in my 40s.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of ladies who get to bodybuilding, especially young, who find this a very interesting sport. Most people, especially in the everyday person, doesn't know much about bodybuilding. The one thing is everybody think about bodybuilders is steroids and all this and all that, but it's more factors to it. And you started at 14. That's pretty young. I mean, to admire. Who was that? The people you were really admired back then when you were that
Oh
age.
gosh, we're looking at back then Juliet Bergman, Anya Langer, Corey Everson, Rachel McLeish, Linda Murray. As we went on through the decades, there was different people that really inspired others. And it's just like, but my favorites were always Anya Langer and Juliet Bergman. And we're talking back,
Yes,
back,
Anya was
back,
just
early,
beautiful
early.
in '80s. Yeah, Anja had a beautiful physique. She was almost second run up to Corey. I think back was '86. I think it was. And when Judith Bergman, she came back after taking like she took almost 15 years, like you, and she came back and won her first Olympia back in 2001. And those amazing women, like I said, the names you dropped are just are great. I mean, I got to also talk some legends, the legends like people like Nancy Lewis, Sue
Yeah,
Price,
yeah.
uh, a lady I consider a fellow Canadian and a dear friend of mine, Miss Ronnie Charisma. I mean, it's just those women were just great muscle, femininity, everything
Mhm.
combined.
Negrita Jade, another one.
Oh yes, I remember her.
Yes, rest in peace, but she was phenomenal as well. Beautiful, muscular, and just put everything together when it came to female bodybuilding.
Yeah. I remember she was engaged to the late Gregory Hines, and
That's
he
correct.
passed away before she passed, and then see, I'm always aware of my surroundings, if I'm allowed to say. That's my favorite movie, The Dark Knight Begins, and like I said, women's bodybuilding has evolved since you started and since you last competed. Who do you see now that you really get your attention?
Um, you know what? There's so many different females that come in and out. Um, like Helly, I adore her personality. I adore her enthusiasm. Um, there's different physiques that come in, but for me, it's bodybuilding's a very personal thing for me. It's about making me the best that I can be. I always compete against myself, and I look forward to great physiques. Um, but sometimes, like you get the super freaks that are super ripped, and I appreciate that and I commend them. And then you get the ones that have put so much size on. I'm a bit of let's progress with all three: size, physique, and femininity on that stage.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's hard to try to get both of them together with some women. Some women can have that. Like one person I mentioned that's a fan of is Andrea Shaw. She combines that the size, the femininity. You look at people like Hella, as you mentioned, Hella. I mean, amazing woman, been in the game a long time. She is one of the right now competing. Her
Yeah,
and I think Irene Anderson are the only women who has been exclusively women's bodybuilding. Because
yeah.
you look at now, because I think you were coming in, physique was already around, figure was already around, bikini just started up, and it has changed over the years,
Yes.
especially the women, the look, the size, everything else. It's just like anything. It's just evolution of athletes.
And the thing I like the most is I'll always know women's bodybuilding because it has a straightforward, you got to be muscular, you got to be have a good physique, and you got to be really lean. So I will always be a bodybuilder, and I'm looking at competing again this year and coming back. And listen, I'm in my
Whoa.
50s. I'm in past my mid 50s. So why not? And it's to prove to myself, be the best I can be. If I can come in being the best that I've ever been, that is good. And I'm not a big girl off the stage. I produce muscle maturity, which makes it look a lot bigger than on stage than it does off the stage. It's like Phil Heath. He had that muscle maturity. It's that old time bodybuilding, that crispness that they talk about, that certain look of years and years of training. Because I've never stopped training in my life. That's one thing I always will do.
Well, well, breaking news, folks. Amanda Elotis is announcing she's returning to bodybuilding one more time to compete. And, that's some breaking news. You're not the first. There's plenty of ladies who are 50s, 60s. I know one lady I interviewed before, Melanie Horton. She's like a
Yes.
59. Yeah, I know you probably know Melanie. I mean, she's obviously a good friend. She competed. Her first bodybuilding was in the 90s, and she competed at the Olympia. That it was 99. There's a lady also known here, Robin Mays, and she's now qualified for her second Masters Olympia. That is now getting really popular. The Masters is really growing because there's so many competitors who are like yourself, mature, who come in because they love the sport. They love the passion about bodybuilding. Oh, we got people coming in here right now. Shout out to my man KL the Wanderer. He says, "Hey, what's up? Hey, brother, what's up with you? Thank you for coming through." Also, we have Alex, Alex, so what his name says, Amanda is the greatest. Wow.
Thank you.
We got some fans here, Like, I come here, you just love to get a chance to interact with your ladies when you get opportunities. So, what was that first time like when you competed on stage? Your first feeling of it when you were on there?
My first show was 16 years old. I was very, very shy. And I went on that stage and I just said, okay, I got to perform. So I went up there, and it was funny because I had a few time of people back in the day that you looked up to because they were national competitors, and they helped me with my training. And they said, no, you're too small. You'll never do well on that stage. You're too small. And so I said, what do I have to lose? So I went into the juniors, and I competed, and at 16, and I won my first place trophy. And I was very happy out of 5 girls on stage. And then from there, it just got to be, going. Then I won the Junior Ontarios, the Junior Canadas. And then I took a bit of time, and then I went into the senior division, made it to the North Americans. And then that's when I took the 15-year layoff from competing, but never stopped training.
So what were we doing in the 15 years?
Just, focusing on my business. I have a personal training business. I have a cute little studio in Toronto. I love empowering people, making them feel confident as I'm building them, keeping their insecurities at bay and saying, hey, you know what? You can be powerful and smart and also I train a lot of young athletes, and I love seeing these little minds and progress and take it at an elite level. So I dibble dabble in young athletes, from hockey players to tennis players to skaters to soccer players, you name it.
So you're all trades, huh?
Yep, like to focus that, yes.
Yeah,
and business, you know what? You have to make money. The sport doesn't make you money.
Yeah, that's true. I often talk to competitors like the cost of not just your training, your coaches, your supplements, your travel to the shows, paying your pro fees every year, and if for the women, the expense, like the guys, their expenses are high because they just gotta pay for the supplements, they eat more food. But y'all women, especially when show day, it is more expensive because now you have to hair, makeup, jewelry. You know, it used to be remember back in the day, the pose suits weren't that fancy. It was just a basic, nice little suit, you know, and boom. But now you have to have dazzle and all the bright lights and everything on these suits now, and that's an expense because that could be your rent, could be a car note, could be a mortgage. The cost of some suits now these days.
Yes, that's right. And that's the thing. Like, but I've been fortunate. I have a great business, great clientele that's been with me for decades, and young players coming through and young athletes. And I just, you know what? I'm very regimented. I have a good family life. I have a great like business, everything. So realistically, it's like I'm fortunate in everything. And now bodybuilding is my own personal goal. I always have to have a goal. And I thought to myself, you know what? Why not focus and do another show and try and beat me? Because there's always
That's
somebody
what
that's going to be bigger, more gifted, um, harder, but can you be the best you can be? And that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah. Sometimes you can have genetics and have talent, but hard work can also beat that. I mean,
Exactly.
I've seen some amazing bodybuilders who come along the way and they just worked hard and trained hard. You know, good examples like the former champion, Mr. Ronnie Coleman's, 8-time champion, and just
Yes.
those men and women over the generations that really came in and put into work, understand the factors. Folks, I'm going to do this for what we have her here. This is the video I found. As you know, one of my things, I'm always researching somebody. I always, as I often quote, I want to be aware of my surroundings at all times when I, especially as my master Ra's al Ghul, the Demon's Head, taught me. So we got a video of her. This is after she got her pro card. So we're going to pull it up here in a sec. And there she is. Yay. And we'll get her thoughts and experience. Now she's became an IFBB pro. So guess it, folks. And here we go.
IFBB Bikini Pro, and I'm here with Amanda Evalotis, who just won the over 35 women's bodybuilding. What's going through your mind right now?
Oh, I'm happy to be a pro. So at the age of 45, I made the pro series, so I'm happy.
Congrats on your pro card and welcome to the IFBB Professional League.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about your journey to get here today.
I owe it a lot to my husband, Abdul. He's been center point of everything I've done. And it's just, stay steady. Each year I got stronger, bigger, put on more muscle, got a little harder, and it all paid off.
So as a competitor, can you tell me what are some of your strengths and what are your weaknesses?
I'd say my thighs are my strengths and my posing. My weaknesses, we'll let the judges decide and ask them what I can improve on, but I have a list. I have a list.
So tell me a little bit about your life outside of bodybuilding. What do you do for fun or what do you do for a living?
Okay, we own our own training studio and it's in Toronto, Canada. And we have a great set of clients, a good business. And for fun, we're going away after this. So we're going down to the Dominican, having a little vacation and enjoying life.
So who do you think is going to take the Miss Bodybuilding Olympia title this year?
Well, I have a few favorites, but I do have a funny feeling Iris will take it again.
Okay. Can you tell me who inspires you?
I'm an oldie and goldie, so there's a lot of olden bodybuilders like Juliet Bergman, Anya Langer. We're talking, Corey Everson. So we're talking back in the day. Now this proves my age. But the ladies up here, they're very inspiring as well. But I always stuck to the oldie goldies. I love the olden time bodybuilders.
What got you into bodybuilding to begin with?
I love the look of muscle. It's all about bodybuilding. Whether you want to become a bikini, a figure, you have to pump up some weights and you can shape your body the way you want to. This is your art. This is the form that we want to put the plaster on, and we create what we want. And that's the beauty behind bodybuilding. And, there is no limitations. And that's what I love about it.
That's very well said. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our viewers out here tonight? Any words of wisdom?
Yes, go with whatever you want. If you focus hard enough, you will attain it.
And is there anybody else you'd like to thank tonight?
Just like, once again, my husband, Abdul. He's my coach. He's my life. He's my best friend.
This is Ashley Callwasser signing off for NPCNewsOnline.com.